Namaskar, Jai Hind. In this video lecture, I am going to discuss about topic 6, that is organizing. And under this, I am going to discuss about the delegation, meaning and elements of delegation, centralization and decentralization. The meaning of delegation is we can understand with the example of Symbiosis Law School, Noida, where we can see the director, the head of the examination department, head of the IT, head of the research wing, head of the legal cell. We are having different units. Why? Because director cannot run all the different units. So he has delegated the work to the different units, and he has also assigned certain authority to them to run the unit in a smooth manner. So this part, this downward pushing of authority to make decisions is known as delegation of authority. So that means he has delegated the authority uh, to the different units so that they can run in the smooth manner. In the words of Louis, if the manager requires his subordinates to perform the work, he must entrust him with part of the rights and powers which he otherwise would have to exercise himself to get the work done. So it should be remembered, however, that by delegating authority, the manager does not surrender his authority or give his authority away. That means director, when he has assigned certain authority to the team to take the decisions related to the area, it doesn't mean that he has surrendered the authority. He is having the authority. Okay. The delegated manager always retains the overall authority which was assigned to him to perform his functions. As Terry has observed, it is something like imparting knowledge. You share with others who then possesses the knowledge, but you still retain the knowledge too. It doesn't mean that whatever the knowledge you have shared with others, you are going to lose them. According to Mary Parker Follett, the idea of delegating authority is a policy because many positions carry with them their own authority. The director of a hospital does not give authority to a surgeon. The position of surgeon already contains authority. If the director gives more or less authority, he is expanding or contracting the position itself. This is an archetypal change, not a mere matter of delegating authority from above. So this is the another opinion about the delegation. So advantage of effective delegation. So we will see one by one. It relieves the manager of his heavy workload. Just see the condition of director here in the Symbiosis Law School, Noida. If he wants to do all the work himself, definitely the quality of work is going to be compromised. That is why he is giving authority to he is delegating the power to different units so that the work can be done in a good manner. It leads to better decision. Let us try to understand that if a person sitting in Delhi and a unit is working in Bihar Patna, so the person who is working in Patna in the department, he understands better than the person who is sitting in Delhi. So if he is being empowered, if he is being delegated, so definitely he can take better decision than the person who is sitting in Delhi who doesn't have any idea about that particular place and the work. It speeds up the decision making. If only one person is taking all the decisions, so definitely it is going to take time. So once the different units they are taking the decision themselves, so definitely it is going to reduce the timing of decision making. Otherwise, all the job will be pending. It helps train subordinates and build morale. So once you are not giving job, you are not giving responsibility. Once you are not assigning the authority, so definitely they cannot learn better. At the same time, if they are performing the job, their morale will also be higher. It also sometimes serves as a compensation to those employees who face the prospect of limited advancement. It helps to create a formal organizational structure. If you are not delegating the power, if you are not making the structure, so without delegation, you cannot make the structure as well. Barriers to the effective delegation. Sometimes what happens that the manager managers are having different apprehensions, so that is why they do not delegate. First is the fear of loss of power. Sometimes the managers are little Napoleons who wants to keep all the authority to make decisions in their own hands. They feel uncomfortable when they see their subordinates making decisions which they themselves once made. The I can do better myself. That means the manager always sometimes think that they can do better than their subordinates. So that is why they don't delegate. Lack of confidence in subordinates. They sometimes feel that their subordinates are not that much effective. If the work is being assigned to them, they are going to spoil the work. So that is why sometimes hesitation is there to delegate. Fear of being exposed, that is also one of the criteria, that if their subordinates are going to take better decisions than him, so sometimes they feel that their efficiency is being exposed sometimes. That is why. But here, just remember here, this is Jacek Paranjan, desired defeat from your discipline should be his motto. He says that if he wants to be defeated by your subordinates, so then you are going to pay. You can see here one of the example here. It shows in the advertisement here. So here, let me try to tell you that here also, it's the mother says that when he is going to win, I'm going to win. That means if the manager, the senior manager, is delegating his subordinate, and once he is being trained to win, so definitely that senior manager is going to win. So if you are thinking in that way, then only you can delegate. Otherwise, if you are fearing, then your subordinate is going to win. So that time you cannot delegate the authority. Difficulty in briefing. Many times managers are reluctant to delegate because they think that it is easier to do a task themselves than to brief the subordinates. Inability to establish and exercise proper control, since it is only the authority which is delegated and not the responsibility. All managers want to assure themselves about the proper use of delegated authority by their subordinates. They are reluctant to delegate authority if they are unable to keep a tab on whatever their subordinates do. So that is why if the proper controls are not there, so they don't want to delegate. Decentralization of authority. The delegation of authority by an individual manager is closely related to an organization's decentralization of authority. Every organization has to decide how much decision making authority should be centralized in hands of chief executives and how much should be distributed among the managers at lower levels. In a centralized setup, the decision making authority is concentrated in a few hands at the top, and in a decentralized setup, it is delegated to the levels where the work is to be performed. So you must have seen in India that the government wants that most of the decisions should be taken at the village level. So they want to promote it. So here the decentralization means we can measure that if more and more decisions have been taken at the lower level. So Arnett Dell mentions four criteria to measure the extent of decentralization in any organization. He states that whenever decentralization is greater, the greater is the number of decisions made at the lower levels. The more important are the decisions made at lower levels, the more is the number of areas in which decisions can be made at lower levels, and the fewer are the people to be consulted, and less is the checking required on the decisions made at the lower levels. So you can see these are the criteria are very very important, and if any decision is being taken at the working level, definitely that decision would be the best. So uh, on that basis, the decentralization can be. In other words of Fayol, he says that everything that goes to increasing the importance of subordinates role is decentralization, and everything that goes to reduce it is centralization. That means the subordinates are taking less decision, the higher authority is taking more decision, then it is known as centralization. It may also be noted that the terms centralization and decentralization are not absolute but are relative. Absolute centralization is not possible except in a one-man enterprise. Consequently, it can be said that the some decentralized characteristics all organizations. Similarly, there cannot be absolute decentralization of authority because the manager cannot delegate all his authority without surrendering his position as a manager. Distinction between the delegation and decentralization. The terms delegation and decentralization, they look like same, but there are some differences here. Delegation is a process while decentralization is the end result of delegation and dispersal of authority. Delegation mainly refers to the granting of authority and the creation of responsibility as between one individual and another. Decentralization is the situation which exists as a result of systematic delegation of authority through the organization. In delegation, a superior continue to be responsible for the work delegated to his subordinates, while the decentralization is the superior is relieved from his responsibility. Delegation is vital and essential to the management process. Only through delegation, subordinates can be involved in the organization. Advantage of decentralization. Decentralization reduces the problem of communication and red tape. As an organization grows larger, it takes longer for top managers to get the information necessary to take the decisions. Decentralization permits quicker and better decision makings, as we have discussed. Decentralization recognizes and actually capitalizes on the importance of human element because it is giving importance to the subordinate. Decentralization leads to a competitive climate within the organization where each division is made into a distinct profit center. Its head is encouraged to exercise greater initiative and ingenuity since he is being compared with his peers and various performance measures. Decentralization ensures the development of employees because if you are giving the responsibility, then only they can learn and they can be better trained. Decentralization facilitates diversification of the products, activities, and markets. This has been amply demonstrated by Alfred D. Chandler in his study of such large American industrial enterprises as DuPont, General Motors, Standards Oil, and Sears Roebuck. Chancellor found that these companies in the initial stage had a centralized organization structure that was best suited for the limited products they offered. But as companies expanded their operations and diversified production, their centralized structure started proving inefficient and impractical. Advantages of centralization. Coordination of activities of subordinates is better achieved. There is no duplication of efforts or resources. Decisions take into account the interest of the entire organization. Strong central leadership develops which may be required in crisis. So you can just go through it, and we have also I have also uploaded the article related to this. Thank you so much.